Ooh, what's good, Commanders fans? Another quick video here. Second day out, guys. Second day out. I see the love that you guys have commented on my video, my first video out. It's just crazy. I'm still upset that I wasn't able to react to the game right after, and also on my own channel, and just make videos right before the game on my own channel too. So it's crazy, but I thank you guys for the support as well, man. Thank you guys for the support and all the comments. Somebody said they brought a canteen for me and stuff like that. Welcome back. I'm back like Mace, man. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. First day out. All that good stuff, man. You guys are hilarious in the comments for sure. I'm looking at some of the comments you guys put down right now. Yeah, somebody said, man, whatever happened, YouTube's timing was brutal. Good to see you back. Victory Monday wasn't the same without you. So Victory Tuesday for sure. Enjoying that with you guys and just enjoying it this week. Of course, we have to look at the prize, which is the game against the Lions for sure. So I do want to talk about Joey Jr. getting a interview request from the Jets. So congrats from him. This is per Tom Pelissero, saying that the Jets have requested an interview with Commanders defensive coordinator Joe Whitt Jr. for their head coach opening. Now, I know the Jets, they interviewed Mike Locksley, so they've interviewed a bunch of people, a lot of people from, the college ranks and all kinds of stuff and whatnot. So they're trying everybody. I believe they interviewed Ron Rivera too. And I know the Bears interviewed Ron Rivera. So it looks like these teams are really, 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 I'm not going to say desperate, but they really are interviewing a lot of people. Like, there's a widespread search, and it's not like they're just trying to fill in the Rooney Rule either. Like, they're actually like interviewing a lot of people. Like I said, if it was just the Rooney Rule, they would just interview Joey Jr. or interview Michael Locksley and just be done with it and go with somebody else. But they really are doing their, I'll say, widespread search and doing their due diligence. And congrats to Joey Jr. for getting an interview, man, for his first time being a defensive coordinator. I mean, there's mixed reviews on Joey Jr. I think there's some things that he's definitely excelled at and some things that definitely need improvement for next year, because he's probably going to come back. I don't think he's going to win the job. Who knows? He could be the surprise winner for the job with the Jets. He did a solid job with the Cowboys being their defensive backs or pass game coordinator or whatever position he had with the Cowboys. And this year, there have been a major improvements. I mean, you look at the defense last year, we were dead last in almost every statistical category. Now, we're third in pass yards allowed, which is misleading because we've given up big plays. Like, Ben St. Juste has given up a lot of big plays. We've struggled to cover guys. A couple of receivers had some really good games against us and whatnot. A couple of quarterbacks have had some good games against us. But we have been able to buckle down a little bit towards the end of the season. I know Trey Lance is awful. Just looking at the schedule, like, what quarterbacks did we really kind of just clamp down and shut them down for the most part? The Giants, no, Daniel Jones had a good game that game. Yeah, like, Michael Penix had a good game. Kenny Pickett was moving the ball against us. Spencer Rattler walked us down in the second half. Basically walked us down in the second half and almost scored and won the game. They did score, they just didn't get the 2-point conversion. Will Levis, we did a good job against. Cooper Rush had a good game. Like, looking at all the games that we played, the quarterbacks for the most part had solid games. Jalen Hurts, we did, like, Philly against Jalen Hurts, we did a good job on Thursday Night Football. Russell Wilson beat us at the end, but some of it is personnel, and it's not his fault. Like, if he just had better personnel, I feel like the defense would be better. But the rush defense is, like, my biggest concern. That's my biggest concern. We just consistently have not been able to slow down the run game. I think for halves, we've been able to slow down the run game, but for, like, a full game, we have not been able to do it. Like, Saquon, the first time we played the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, we shut him down in the first half. The second half, he went crazy. The first half, he went crazy against us in the second game, and then Kenny Pickett came in the second half. We shut down Saquon. Dallas, Rico Dowdle for the most part. Tony Pollard for the most part. Against Tennessee, we did a good job. Against New Orleans, we did a solid job against the run game. Bijan Robinson went crazy, and then the second half, we slowed him down. So it's kind of like there's ebbs and flows and adjustments that Joe Whitt Jr. makes, but for a full game, we just haven't been able to slow down the run game. I thought Bucky Irvin, we did a solid job against, but there were drives where he was getting chunk plays. It's just the time of possession and the offense really helped us out. I think the best game that Joe Whitt Jr. called all season was probably against the Bears, but then again, DeAndre Swift went crazy in the second half. So like I said, it's really been kind of like a tale of two halves for Joe Whitt Jr. Like also what I said before, all of it's not his fault. When Ben St. Juste was your number one corner for a majority of the season, and then Mikey Sanders still came along, he turned into the number one corner. Marshawn just has not been available for the most part, and when he has been available, the Saints didn't try him, and then the Eagles game, he wasn't great, and then this past game, he wasn't great either. He's not fully healthy with a chronic hamstring injury, so, but the positives are Bobby Wagner's played really well, Frankie's played really well, Mikey Sanders still has developed really well, Dante Fowler has a career resurgence, Dorrance Armstrong's played well in certain spots, Johnny Newton's played well in certain spots. Dorrance Armstrong in certain spots. Quan Martin's had a good season. Jeremy Chin has gotten better throughout the season for sure. So, like, there's some areas where you can be like, okay, yeah, I see why Joe Whitt Jr. is getting an interview. And a lot of it is because just the team overall, we're 12-5. Some of the takeaways have gone up a little bit. Ball is life. We haven't got a lot of turnovers, forced turnovers like we would like to. But it has gone up a little bit, kind of, game by game. There's been opportunities where guys just have dropped football. Like Frankie had a big drop. Jeremy Chin has had a couple drops. So guys have been in position to make plays. So that's what I'll give a little bit. I think the best game he called was probably against Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson is awful. Excuse me, where we beat them 34-13. And in Arizona against Kyler Murray, I thought he did a good job too against Kyler Murray, 42-14 in that game too. So those are like two games where I can say that was a complete game. The other games are like halves of productive defense where it would be like, okay, we took something away. Like the running game against the Eagles and Saquon. All right, so that's about it for Joe Whitt Jr. Congrats to him. I mean, Lance Newmark's getting interviews. Cliff is getting interviews. I mean, that's when you have a good team. Like, other teams poach your guys instead of us being desperate. Like, oh my gosh, we want to get an interview with Ben Johnson, and we want to steal Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs, and trade for Mike Tomlin, just all the stuff and rumors that have happened in the past. That stuff is happening to us, where people want people from our staff and our front office. Like, people are trying to take our guys away because we've been playing good football and winning games. So, and all the disrespect to Ben Johnson for saying basketball guys that know too much. Like, that's why I really hope we beat the Lions, just to get at Ben Johnson for sure. But yeah, so let's talk about some adjustments that I really would like us to make against the Lions. Just some things. It's not a lot, and it's not like major adjustments, but just some adjustments that I see from the personnel-wise. It's not many. It's just really like two. Is clearly Chris Rodriguez, man. The guy should play, man. He needs to play on Saturday night. He needs to get some carries. And it's not all on B-Rob, because like a lot of people have been commenting when I talk about B-Rob, when I talk about him in a negative way, people always say the offensive line is not getting it done. Yes, and I know the Buccaneers defense is like the best run defense, and every year they have a good run defense. With Vita Vea, whoever they put in the middle, they always shut down the run. So not all of it is on B-Rob, just to be fair. But it is intriguing that when Austin Eckler got in the game, guess what? He got a nice 8-yard run. He looked explosive. The fourth and one he converted. So it's like Austin Eckler comes in, provides a punch, and looks explosive. C-Rod comes in against Atlanta. I know it was only 3 carries, but he looks explosive and has some vision here and just makes something shake. But B-Rob gets in, it's just like, we're not going anywhere. We're getting 4 yards really 3 yards per carry with B-Rob, 10 carries for 16 yards. Like I said, I know it's the Bucs defense, so I didn't expect us to go in and get 70 yards on the ground. But the only guys, even against the Cowboys too, like, the only run game we had was from Jaden and Marcus Mariota. The same thing with the Falcons. Jaden Daniels really consistently. The Saints game, really, Jaden again, consistently running the football. And what was the game before that? The Eagles game, again, with Jaden Daniels having to run the football a lot and be Houdini and put the cape on. So it's like, we need a running back to step up. I know the Lions' run defense is tough again. So again, it's an asterisk on Saturday night. I'm not expecting a running back to come in and get 70, 80 yards to 90 yards on the ground, but can you give us a couple explosive runs where we get some yards after contact, just to ease the pressure off of Jaden, especially when you have a guy like Jaden. Like, the run game should be easier. Like, there's a statistic that some people have found. Washington is second in the league in a 74% run block win rate this year. So it's like, what's going on? Like, is B-Rob just tired, wearing down, where we just need to put some fresh legs in? And that's kind of what I think the case is. Now, when you do have C-Rod active, who is going to be inactive? That is the biggest question mark there. And I hate to call people out and just be like, oh man, this guy should be inactive and whatnot. I really hate to do that. Like the wide receiver position, you can't have anybody inactive. You just can't. Like De'Ami stepping up and playing well. Crowder's playing well at times. He's had some big moments. Zakia Oz has had some big moments this year. Terry obviously is our number one. So that's what, 4 guys I just named. Four. Luke McCaffrey's our kick returner now. So that's 5 guys. KJ Osborne was already inactive, so it's like you can't really make a receiver inactive. I don't know who else, because all the other guys that are like safeties and corners are key special teamers. Michael Davis was inactive, and he's awful, so he definitely should be inactive. I hate to say it, but maybe Ben Sinnott. You got Zach Ertz and John Bates out there as your 2 tight ends, but you definitely want to have another tight end. So it's like the pickings are really slim to make somebody inactive, to make C-Rod active and to have 4 running backs active. But he's got to play, man. Like you can't have talent like that sitting on the bench, man. It's just hard to do that, in my opinion. It really is. It's hard to do that. And like I said, I'm not blaming B-Rod for everything, but they're definitely going to draft a running back. You just need more explosive and more pop and more wiggle from the running back position, in my opinion. It is what it is right there. C-Rod right now this season, I already talked about some of his statistics. He has a 90.1 run grade off of 35 attempts this year, which is not a lot. I get it. Which is sixth in the NFL. His PFF run grade 90.1, 3.91 yards after contact per attempt, which is 3rd, and then 0.39 missed tackles forced per attempt, which is 2nd in the NFL. Tiny sample size, but he has insane efficiency at this point. So I mean, like I said, C-Rod's got to play, man. You got to give him something, like in the red zone too, like because B-Rod wasn't able to punch it in. Maybe C-Rod would have been able to punch it. I know Vita Vea was there, and other guy Clancy and all those guys, Diaby, were right there waiting for B-Rod. But like I said, against the Falcons, you saw that red zone play by C-Rod to get the touchdown. He just made something happen. And in the playoffs, you just got to make something shake and make something happen. So, like I said, I would like to see that adjustment made and see Chris Rodriguez get some carries and be active, and at least have his jersey on and not just sweatpants. All right. Other things are, to me, De'Ami get targets too, man. Like, he was getting targets. He should get a lot of targets again. I really feel like you can move the ball against the Lions' defense. Like, their pass defense is one of the worst in the league. They give up a lot of passing yards allowed. I want to look this up before I say what they're ranked, but they give up a lot of passing yards. They give up a lot of passing yards to the Niners with Brock Purdy. They give up a lot of passing yards. That's their Achilles heel. They're 29th in passing yards allowed right now. They give up 244 passing yards per game at this point. So they struggle. Terrion Arnold has been up and down this year. You can move the football on their defense. You really can. There's been games where they have given up a lot of points. De'Ami needs a lot of targets, in my opinion. Of course, Terry in the hierarchy should get 10 to 12 targets, in my opinion. But De'Ami should get like 7 or 8 on Saturday Night Football. Go with the hot hand. Feed him too. He is our wide receiver too at this point for the playoffs. Sometimes it's OZ, sometimes it's Crowder. But feed the hot hand in De'Ami, man. And he wants to prove Amon-Ra St. Brown wrong, because Amon-Ra St. Brown was talking trash. He was like, De'Ami Brown, I believe. He was one of the guys that was drafted over me. He didn't even get in the game, and he was talking trash like that a couple years ago. Keep that on the forefront of your mind. In the documentary, if we do beat the Lions, or if he has a good game against the Lions, he should definitely put that in the intro of his documentary for sure. Amon-Ra St. Brown talking trash. All right, Marshawn Lattimore. His PFF grade, he had a 26.5 defensive grade, which was the worst on the team. He had a 25.9 coverage grade, which was also worse on the team. I would not have him shadow anybody this game, even though that's what we brought him to do. You're not going to shadow somebody all the time. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown, the thing about him, like he's a different kind of receiver than Mike Evans. Like he's not, he is physical, don't get me wrong, but clearly he's not 6'5", So that's the biggest part about it. That's the biggest difference. Like, so with the hamstring injury, I would like if he's on Jameson Williams' side, that's somewhat of a concern to me with a hamstring injury. So the adjustment for me, like I said, I would not have him travel or follow anybody. I wouldn't have him travel, follow Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was traveling and following Mike Evans, which was clearly what I would have done too. But the hamstring injury is still hampering him, and he's just not the same at this point. And you got to understand, like he's been in and out of the lineup too. He's played 6 games this whole year, this whole season. So it was tough to ask him to come back and do that. Not making any excuses for him, but he just didn't play well. So, Mikey, man, I know a lot of people are saying that Mikey should follow Jameson. Let's see about that. I mean, hey, I'm not against that at all. Honestly, the biggest concern, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a dog, but Jameson actually concerns me at all the receivers. I'm not going to hold you, because if Jameson gets a 50-yard bomb or a 60-yard bomb, that can completely change the trajectory of the game. It really can. Because if they get the engine revved up and you're so concerned about Jameson Williams, then they're going to hand the ball off to David Montgomery, hand it off to Jahmyr Gibbs. Like Jameson Williams, man, like he concerns me. He does. He's probably the biggest concern to me, other than Jahmyr and David. Like I'm more concerned about Jameson Williams than Amon-Ra St. Brown because of the explosive plays that he can make. So that's a little bit of my adjustment. Maybe you have Mike on him. You don't want Ben St. Juste near him at all. You just don't. You don't want Ben St. Juste near Jameson at all. So just taking a look at Marshawn. Do you need to put him on a snap count? Do you need to save Marshawn from Marshawn? You know, so that's the thing there with Whitt Jr. too. And he made that adjustment too. Like there were some times where he just had to have him out the game because he just wasn't being productive. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Like I said, not huge adjustments, but just some things that I saw that we all saw from the Buccaneers game that I think the team should definitely consider before the game on Saturday night for sure. All right, you guys, as always, Hell's Commanders. Peace.